So now let us try to take the next part of the variables types, that is instance variables in Java. Okay, instance variables in Java. Okay, so what are instance variables? Instance variables are declared inside a class but outside any method, constructor or a block, and they are associated with objects and are created when an object is instantiated. Each object gets its own copy of instance variables. Okay, so this is called as an instance variables. So where and what are the characteristics of this instance variables? The instance variables are declared inside a class but outside methods, constructors or blocks. Okay, and each object of a class has its own separate copy. So they have default values if not explicitly initialized, and the instance variables are stored in the heap memory. Okay, and they can have access modifiers like public, private, protected or default. Okay, and can be used using this keyword. This is an optional thing. Okay, so now let me try to switch back to Eclipse and let me try to show you guys that how does this works. Okay, so now here let me try to rename this as instance variable. Okay, instance variable. I'll just try to rename this class, guys, with instance variable. Okay, let me try to rename. Okay, so now let me try to delete everything and just let me try to have one main method. Okay, so this is a main method, and let me try to have one constructor. Constructor is nothing but it is a method which is having the same name as that of the class name. Okay, so now this is called as a constructor and this is the main method, right? So now let's come to the characteristics of instance variables. So these are declared, the instance variables are declared, these are declared directly within the class, right? The instance variables, just give me a minute, guys. Okay, so this instance variables are declared inside a class but outside methods, constructors or blocks, right? So these are called as instance variables. So now where we have to declare? We have to declare this instance variables directly within the class, right? So where is the class? Class is here directly within the class, outside any constructor or outside any method. We can have not only main method, we can have other method also, like for example void add. So it should be declared outside a constructor or any methods. Okay, so where it should be declared? Directly within the class, here int of a, directly declared within the class. So these are called as an instance variables. These are declared directly within the class, outside a constructor or a method or any block. Okay, so those are called as the instance variables. Okay, and the default value for the instance variable is provided by the JVM, right? So for example, if I'm trying to print this or I'm trying to use the value, use the variable a, right? I'm trying to use the variable a. So the default value will be provided by the JVM. But how to access this variable a? We can access this variable a or the instance variables with the help of objects. So how to create an object? With the help of class name, then we have to give a reference, then assignment operator, new keyword, constructor call. So this is nothing but a constructor call. So what it will this call to? This will call to this constructor. Okay, so this is a constructor. So instance variables can be accessed with the help of class object. How to access the instance variable? Instance variables can be accessed with the help of objects. Okay, so obj is the object reference that we have created for the instance var class, and dot instance variable that we want to access. Now coming back, the default value for the instance variable will be provided by the JVM. Run as Java application. See, here once we have executed the run as Java application, the default value is provided as 0, right? So let me try to add some statement here. Default value for the instance variable. Okay, this is the default value of the instance variable, right? So I'm just trying to print again one more time, run as Java application. See, it will provide me in the console that instance default value for the instance variable is 0, right? This is what it is providing. Run as Java application. I have added one space, right? But if we were seeing with respect to the local variables, it used to give us compile time error saying initialize the variable, only then you can use. But with the help of instance variable, the JVM will be providing me the default value, right? Now the next thing that we saw was the instance with each object will have its own copy or own value of the instance variables, right? For that we have to create a constructor, and the constructor should be an parameterized constructor. So if you add a parameters or arguments, so that can be considered as a parameterized constructor. Okay, so this is a parameterized constructor. So once we create a parameterized constructor, with the help of this parameterized constructor, we can provide different values for this instance variable. See, this dot A is equals to Z. This dot A is referring to this instance variables. Okay, this keyword can be used inside a constructor. Okay, and with the help of this dot A, I am trying to initialize the value of A with whatever the value that I passed from the constructor call. So where is the constructor call happening? It is happening at this place, right? So this is called as a constructor call, and here I will set the value to 10. Now if I am trying to print the value of this instance variable, so it will give me the value of the instance variable as 10. Okay, let us see the value of instance variable. Run as Java application. See here, if you see what is the value of this instance variable, guys, now the value of this instance variable is 10. So from where I am getting this value? From this object. Okay, now let me try to create one more object and let me try to print the same thing. But now at this time I will try to give some other value. Object 2. So how to create an object? Class name, object reference, new keyword, constructor call. So this constructor call will what will be doing? This constructor call will be initializing me the value with respect to the instance variable, right? So now what will this do? This object will set the value of variable A to 10, whereas this particular obj2 will set the instance variable value to 20. Let us see. Here I'll just try to replace as obj1 and let me try to run as Java application. It is giving me a compile time error, guys. Okay, here it is object 2. So let me try to declare it as object 2, control S save, run as Java application. See, for this particular instance variable A, the value is 10. With respect to the other object that we have created, the value for the instance variable A is 20. So now you can relate. That is, with respect to the objects, see here, we can have each object of the class has its own separate copy and the separate value for that instance variable. Clear, guys? So this is called as an instance variable. Where we can declare the instance variable? We can declare the instance variable directly within the class, but outside any method or any block or a constructor. Okay, and the default value will be provided by the JVM for the instance variable, and we can have a different copy and different value for the object corresponding to it. Okay? So these are called as an instance variables in Java.